Very puzzling. I wonder how many people haven't played Lights Out, or some iteration of it. Hey look, the lights in the lockers are green. Maybe we unlocked it? There's more than one key here. This one's small, maybe to some sort of machine. And this one has the Earth symbol on it. It matches a keyhole. I think it matches a keyhole in the door on Deck A. Well, if that's the case, we probably don't need the Earth key right now. Okay, I'll just tuck you away in my pocket. As for the other one... I think it's... Actually, I don't know what type of key it's called. A circular key? It was at that point, a voice behind them shouted, "Clover."
Hey, Junpei, you have a moment?
He put the puzzle aside, walked over. What's up?
I want to ask you something. You went into door 5 with my brother, right? Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Why is she asking me this? The more he thought about it, the more it made sense, though. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried. He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However... Sorry, I can't really think of anything. He did mention his hearing exceeds that of a regular person or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei, turned around. Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if, is Snake, was he born...
You're talking about his eyes?
Yep.
No. He wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident. A bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. His arm...
His arm.
Yeah. My brother's left arm is, not like a normal person's. It's fake. It's not real. The accident hurt him bad. To save him, they had to cut it off. Now you want to ask?
Talking about her brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei nodded. Look, I'm really sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff. Clover shook her head, walked off toward the stairs. But yeah, here it's heavily implied that the big reason why Snake is still so agile is because he suffers from blind sight. Essentially, the car accident caused some trauma to his head, and that disrupted the connection between his eyes and his ability to process what he sees. He can still see perfectly fine, he just can't register what he sees. He's considered blind, but not like if, say, he had completely lost his eyes. More just his ability to process what his eyes see. And it is actually possible for a person with blind sight to eventually recover if it's artificially induced like this. It just takes a while, and even then, you might not necessarily recover. More often than not, you might require a surgery to re-establish the connection. The joys of modern science. It's showing some kind of warning. Power restored to experimental device. Emergency system will activate in the event of abnormal subject behavior. Okay. Typing isn't doing squat. The only thing about the room that's changed is that the lever is down. Not very impressive. Oh, right, now I remember. So go over to the glass and have Clover fiddle with with these.
Junpei, this thing is on!
Yeah, we activated the power on our side. Did you, like, play with it a little?
Okay. I'll turn on this dial here. It's not working. Nothing's happening.
Maybe she missed something. I should ask her to look around the room again. I've got the scribbles from the table already. These lockers are a little larger than the ones on top. Maybe there's something in them? No, nothing. What's in the box? Looks like it's quite full. As far as I can tell, it's notes about some kind of experiment, but it's technical and stuff. I don't really get it. The keyboard, it does nothing! There's your sci-fi reference. The clock may stop, but time moves on. No time to screw around. We need to figure out a way out of here. Maybe if you increase the voltage?
Roger. Time to go to max voltage.
Max voltage? Hey, wait, Clover! Ah, shit.
What? I think,
Fire! 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 Fire!
The mannequin's head!
I guess he was thinking a little too hard about that ass. Fire detected. The emergency system will be activated. Evacuate the room immediately.
Junpei!
Come on, kid, jump! She's safe. Whew, that smoke is serious business. Close this door. You okay, Clover? You hurt? She's coughing so hard she can't talk.
Of course I'm not alright. What the hell took you so long, you big jerk? I was almost dead.
Sorry, I was going as fast as I could. You two can do this later. We need to get out of here. The fire's not gonna stay in that room forever. As jank as it was, it worked! You found a safety hazard! Junpei, Clover, and Lotus leapt out of the room. Leapt out of the Labrador, slammed the door shut behind them. All three collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily. Junpei's heart was pounding in his chest. His whole body felt weak. He inhaled gulps of clean air, and with each one, he could feel it calm down. Alright, let's go. They nodded to each other, started down the hallway. Before long, they found a few new doors, all of them locked. They tried all of them, but one. The final door sat in a corner of the hallway. Junpei grabbed the handle and was about to pull when a voice cried out behind him.
Jumpy!
And from here, it's information we've already seen. But yeah, apologies about all the, scientific... Well, sorry, the neuroscience talk. I can't help it. My field is psychology, and I'm actually very interested in the entirety of it. How people form perceptions, how people form behaviors, how people change behaviors and perceptions over time. That type of thing. It's something I really like studying and looking into, and I can't help but gush about it, or at least about the things that I do know. Like, on the one hand, I understand my end goal is counseling, but at the same rate, that doesn't mean I should ignore all the little things that go into counseling, like neuroscience, for example. Neuroscience is how we understand how people have mental disorders and similar. And at that, at least partially, neuroscience is also how we help people correct behaviors. And at this point, I'm going into an aside on upcoming LP projects. If I end up getting enough games together, I might consider doing another cycle of viewer's choice. Because I believe currently I have 2, maybe even 3 options just laying around in my inventory right now. I could bring back La Mulana or otherwise Muramasa. But in tandem with that, I also did finally pick up Fate Tactics, sorry. So that's something I could do at some point. There's also Rune Factory 4, so yeah, that's gonna be something interesting if we end up doing an LP of that. I think if I did, I would probably go as far as the main story, and then maybe like 3 or 4 months of in-game time past that. Actually, yeah, 1 in-game year past that. Specifically to cover post-game stuffs. I probably wouldn't cover everything in detail, and there's no way in hell I would have the project be blind, because I like Rune Factory. Thinking about it, I might just have instead 4 fresh options for the next viewer's choice. Those being 2 of those being Fatac and Rune Factory. I'm not sure what else I'd put on it though. And for this one, in order to get what we need to go through door 6. Actually, you know what? I have a few terrible ideas. Maybe I'll put Banner Saga on the list. Because that's another one that I haven't actually cleared. I've had it for the longest, just... At some point I stopped, and I don't know why. I think I was just busy with college at the time. Oh no! No! I just remembered what this path is! And it makes sense. There was a plot thread in this direction. I just remembered it. There is relevance to this, and unfortunately this also means we have another round with Poosh Master. Oh, right. It seems like this shaft is a little too big for this hole. It's a little too small for this hole. It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway, to be honest. If that's the case, then that wheel wasn't originally part of this switch. Hot dog down a hallway. I'm 2. I'm 2 years old. You know, speaking of experiments, there's this experiment some scientists did with rats. They took a square C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown. The tank has 2 exits, A and B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see. Exit B, however, is electrified, which means the rat can't leave. So what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would they choose? There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question. B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified. Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified, which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A. I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment. You're right, it isn't interesting. Yet. Say those scientists repeated the experiment multiple times over, using many different generations of rats. And, eventually, with each generation, they took less time to find exit A. Eventually, a rat was put into the tank and instantly chose A without even attempting to go to B. But even that wasn't the most impressive thing. The same experiment was done in other labs too, far from the original, with similar results. No, actually, the second results weren't really that similar. The rats in the second experiment began with significantly faster time trials than the first one. They weren't related to the rats in the first experiment, and hadn't come into contact with them either. But they all found exit A as if they already knew where to go. Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium. Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted. How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that. But I do know that story is true, and if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out. We gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic. Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask. Why'd they use the tank? Huh? Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box. If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B? I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown? Santa gave a grim bark of a laugh. You know the word emergency comes from the same root as the word as emerge? You ever think about that? Well, emergency is something urgent. Often, something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out or appear or rise out of something else. So it's gonna emerge in an emergency. Inspiration. Inspiration. Yeah, think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need. So in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying? Yep. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. They had to be in an emergency for inspiration to emerge. Junpei felt cold. The back of his head ached. His stomach felt strange. Remember that little conversation. You wouldn't think it, but every single conversation that we've been having up to now, and even past this, is gonna be important. There we go, the control box. Which goes here. Then next... Oh, right, toy. The cult box. Which goes in here. Incineminate the coal. Which turns the gears, which gets us our gold, silver, and bronze dicks. Now we can insert our dicks into this hole, and then get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to remember the... Yeah, it was this. There we go. Why don't you go get June? Santa and I will keep an eye on the door. Why do we need to do that? Even if it shuts, we know how to solve the puzzle. We could just open it again. Well, I suppose that's true. Should all three of us go and collect June, then? Nah, I'm cool. I'll let Junpei handle it. He still seemed irritated by something. Sat down on the stairs petulantly. So you're only interested in being Cone's fairy. Alright, I'll go get June. Be right back. You okay? He did his best to sound calm and nonchalant, but there wasn't any hiding the concern in his voice.
Yeah, I'm fine now. Sorry for making you worry.
Okay, good. You're feeling a lot better. Are you sure you're alright?
Oh, you're such a warrior, Jumpy. Oops, I mean, worrier.
He wasn't sure if she just made a joke or not, but seeing her smile again put him at ease. If she was well enough to smile and laugh, maybe she was feeling better. He gave her a friendly poke on the forehead. Let's go.
Go where?
Oh, right, I didn't tell you. We got the exit open, so,
Great! Let's go!
As they walked back toward the exit, Junpei noticed Santa sitting on the stairs. He was holding something in his right hand, a photo. June slowed down, stopped in front of him. What you looking at? Santa answered without looking up. My sister.
Sister? You've got a sister?
Yeah. Kid was as cute as a button. She was only about an inch...
She was only about an inch tall then? Sorry. I guess an inch is a little large for a button. Maybe more like a half inch?
Now is our Santa Claus. We didn't have parents. They bought it in an accident when we were still kids. I had to be like her dad. That meant I bought her Christmas presents every year. On Christmas Eve, I'd leave the present next to her pillow. The next morning, she'd come running into my room with this big smile.
Look! Santa left me a present! Santa got me that doll he really wanted. I'm so glad he got the letter.
I was the one who told her to write those letters. I'd say, write down something you want. Mail it to Santa. The address I gave her was somewhere in Northern Europe that doesn't exist. Anyway, she'd write the letter, stamp it, send it out. Then a few days later, it'd show up back in her mailbox marked, address unknown. I'd open the letters before she figured out they'd been sent back. Once I had the letter, I'd go around to a couple stores with the money I'd saved up over the year, buy her the things she asked for. It took a lot of saving, I managed to buy her presents every year. Junpei was silent. He could think of nothing to say. June looked uncomfortable. The wall next to him suddenly groaned. Either he hadn't heard the sound, or didn't care. Santa continued. The one year, her letter was different. She didn't write a list of toys, or books, or anything like that.
I don't want any presents this year. I want you to make my wish come true. I want us to be happy like this for a really, really long time.
But I couldn't make that wish come true. Some Santa I am. He looked sad. Junpei had never seen him look this sad before. He wasn't sure he liked it. Junpei decided it was probably best not to ask Santa any more questions, but...
What happened?
June glanced up at Santa quickly as she spoke. He answered, but it took a lot of effort. She died. She was killed 9 years ago. There was nothing Junpei could say. His heart felt like a great lump of coal. June bit her lip and looked away, face pale. Right. Let's go. Santa stood up suddenly, downcast demeanor gone. He shoved the picture back in his pocket and headed back up the stairs, taking them two at a time. Junpei and June looked at one another. There wasn't anything they could think to say. Hey, what are you doing? Let's get moving. Come on! Santa's voice echoed across the room. They nodded, followed him up the stairs. Ace was waiting at the top. He was leaning against the handrail. He looked tired. The door had shut, but it wasn't because of concern. Junpei quickly solved the disc puzzle a second time. Opened it once more. In single file, they walked through. 15 feet later, they pushed open another metal door. Into Pushmaster. Fuck Pushmaster. There is nothing positive about this puzzle. There you go. And now for the relevant scene. They had finally collected all 9 pictures. All that remained was to insert the cards into the slots at the front of each box. Junpei stared at the cards in his hand. Ace peered over his shoulder at them. You know which card goes in which box, yes? Junpei gave him a look. Yeah, of course I do. It's really obvious. You just match our numbers to the numbers of the boxes. So, for instance, the card with the picture of Ace goes into box 1. The card with the picture of Snake, 2, and so on and so forth. I see. Junpei thought he might have imagined it, but he could have sworn Ace's face stiffened. Then... Junpei heard a noise. He spun around to see June collapse in front of the fence. June, are you okay? She was unresponsive. Junpei spun back around to Ace. Sorry, I need to check up on her. You do the box thing. Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you. He shoved the cards into Ace's hands, ran off to June. You alright? What happened? As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
I'm sorry. I'm fine. I just tripped.
Don't give me that. That was not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been last time he checked. She wasn't hot, but it was still warm. The fever wasn't completely gone. That's our fault. I think she really did just trip on something, you know? Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up. Still, to fall like that, I think she's probably still a little messed up. June was doing her best to busy herself, brushing dust off her dress. Her smile looked a little embarrassed, her face flushed. But she was doing a great deal better than before. Even still. Alright, let's get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Medicine. Well, if we can get in touch with anyone outside, I bet Ace could swing that for you easy. Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know?
He's the president of a pharmaceutical company. Cradle. Their flagship product is an anesthetic called Soparil. Soparil. Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil. Santa continued. Soparil, It's an anesthetic that's gaseous at room temperature, similar to nitrous oxide. It only takes a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is effective. For those reasons, it found widespread acceptance with police and military in numerous countries. An effective crowd suppressant, room clearer, and practical, ethical, and humane. It was developed 6 years ago, made from the extracts of several roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with governments placing large orders. Demand skyrocketed, and as it did, Cradle Pharmaceuticals grew. And why do you know all this? Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple. I heard it from the old man himself. Ace? When? By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class rooms. Remember how Snake, 7, and you went to door 5? I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing. As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. He seemed to be having difficulty with the boxes. What the hell is he doing? He turned back to June and Santa. June, don't push yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Santa, could you take care of her? Sure. He gave them both a short nod and returned to Ace. What are you doing? Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat. What happened? Nothing. My vision has grown rather blurry. I think perhaps because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment. What can't you see well? These pictures. Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan. I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. Growing old's a difficult thing. He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn. At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit. He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked away quickly. Junpei looked at him quizzically. How could simply looking at cards have tired him out? Junpei looked down at the cards. All of the pictures were clear, each person recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly so bad? But if it wasn't, why was he so uncomfortable? That's when Junpei put 2 and 2 together, from Lotus much earlier. Prosopagnosia. Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's, or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize one another. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Maybe he's got prosopagnosia? Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs, looking depressed. It was reasonable, of course. He'd feel that way. If he really did have prosopagnosia, there's no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best to keep Ace's condition to himself, at least for now. Oh well. Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back to the boxes. 9 cards with pictures, 9 boxes. It only took him a few minutes, if that. He appeared inside the boxes as they opened. In each, a pin. Almost like sewing needles, but thicker. Junpei collected them, shoved them into his pocket. And now for this shit. Oh, wait, shoot. And now for this. I forget the combination! Finally. Get me out of this room, I would rather do Pushmaster. And I hate Pushmaster. Gah! "43 moves. There we go, finally. I did the thing! And now I get Chekhov's gun. To think, so many situations could have been fixed if we just pushed Santa away from the gun. Or Ace away from whatever it is. Next room! And we're gonna be getting our next ending, too. Because we've been so quick. I might keep the next ending that we go for next week. Set in the wall in front of him was a door. So far as Junpei could see, no other way to proceed. Door, or nothing. Alright, let's open it up. Junpei took a deep breath, readied himself, pulled the door open. He paused for a moment, stepped through into the room, and there he saw the number that had hung over their heads since they'd woken up. We've seen this text before. Why are there two? Because... there were 2 doors. That meant all 9 people who had met at the central staircase could escape and leave no one behind. Now the reason for the bracelet numbers being 1 through 9 was clear. Divided in 2, the DR for both teams would be 9. From the very beginning, the Nonary game could save all 9 people. So, what are you gonna do, Junpei? No, we're going back. Yep. I agree. We cannot leave June behind.
Are you sure? I don't mind staying.
It's okay. There's no way we'd leave you behind. Santa had said what the 3 of them had realized. Besides, I'd rather drown at the bottom of the ocean than escape with this sausage fest. Maybe I'll get to go to Atlantia. Are you sure you don't mean Atlantis? Oh, right.
You guys.
Very well. Best we head back to C deck then. We should be able to take the elevator we passed. Perhaps Clover, Seven, and Lotus will return from door 1. Examine the room. Examine the altar. Clover has disappeared. When?
Why?
You 2 went to door 1 with Clover, didn't you? Yeah, we went through the door together. But Clover barely spoke to us. She just did her own thing the whole time. There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1. She wouldn't let us into the 4th room. She just said, "I'll take care of this one," and shut the door. She must have blocked it with something on the other side.
We waited for a while, but she didn't come out.
We called for her. She didn't answer.
So I kicked down the door and went into the room.
But
It was empty.
Clover wasn't there.
There was a door on the other wall.
And it was open.
We figured she opened the door and left by herself.
We ran after her, but
Well, obviously we didn't find her. We figured that much out.
Clover's gone.
We just got here before you.
You certainly have excellent timing.
So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase?
Nope.
Very well then. We'd best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's begin. There were quick nods all around. The 6 remaining players spread out. Junpei and June ran to the large hospital room together. As quickly as they could, they searched around under the beds and the corners. She's not here.
No, she isn't.
Just in case, let's go look in the shower room.
The shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him. June bit her lip. She knew, as Junpei did, that there was only one thing to see, and it wasn't pleasant. Might as well check. There's a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame. Junpei and June slipped through, moved down the hallway, and stepped to the shower room.